Hello and welcome. Carrie here from Healing Humanity, the power of a proper human diet. And today I'm thankful, grateful, blessed to welcome Coach Raymond and Adam to the channel. How's it going, guys?
Hey, how you doing, Gary?
Fantastic.
Adam?
I am doing wonderful. It's a pleasure to have you on here, Raymond. Your story is pretty awesome, and we filmed you. For those that don't know, we filmed Raymond for our documentary. I think while we were out in Austin, we captured Raymond's story. And we have a new big trailer that we just launched yesterday. And so the purpose of the call today is to chat with Raymond, share a little bit of his story, and then share our trailer with everyone here. And so Raymond, maybe if we could start out, could you tell us a little bit about your background? What sort of led you to this space?
Yeah, I'm one of those that goes kind of far back. I started my carnivore journey in 2017, September 15, 2017. So that was before, that was even before. I even started a little bit before that, but I don't count that. I count the September 15th because I did it with Dr. Baker when he was doing that 3 months trial, N=1. That's what he used to call it. And I jumped in on the bandwagon on that one. But I did try it beforehand. A year before that, and did that through the Facebook groups, then just researching on that.
Yeah. And so what's carnivore done for you?
Man, incredible stuff. I mean, I was unfortunately one of those that was near death or wishing I could die because the pain was so bad. I felt like I was in a prison, that I just had to suffer these kind of pains. We're talking about diverticulitis, and that was probably the worst of the pains, but the plantar fasciitis, barely able to walk, just pain all over, constant pain, unable to sleep, constant sleep apnea, just so many things. So all those are gone. I mean, gone. So I don't like using the word, I guess, because medical community doesn't like us using the word cured. So I'll use the word in remission. And that's probably true because I know if I go back to back to my old diet, I will get everything back. So there's no question about that. So whatever it is, I've not only gotten to that point, I'm better than I've ever been physically than in my 20s. I dare say, because I don't really remember my teens that much, because when you're like in your teens, nothing phases you. But man, the things I could do, I was just like, I didn't know I had the ability, and I just had to test it out every now and then as I went along carnivore, because I kept on questioning myself, am I really better? Because you don't really know, right? The shifts happen with you barely knowing. And then you have to think back and you're like, oh my God, that's gone. Oh, well, that's gone. And still to this day, whenever I have calls with clients and they tell me something new, I'm like, oh, that's right, I had that too. So, it's amazing, right? Just to watch what was gone and not even realize it.
Yeah, it's incredible. And so many people do carnivore for like one major immediate reason, and then they have all of these other unintended sort of side effects that are amazing. And the other thing that Adam and I, we filmed 60 people for this documentary all over the world, but for very specific reasons: type 2 diabetes, depression, fertility, all sorts of things. But so many of them said similar to you, Coach Raymond, that I just feel alive for the first time. And a lot of people almost feel kind of cheated. Like, I went my whole life, I could have felt this good. And then you start to realize, like, this is probably the default behavior for humans if we weren't putting the wrong fuel in from birth onward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Raymond, you do some incredible work. A lot of people here may recognize you from SBG. Shout out SBG. You guys are awesome. What's it been like for you coaching people? And actually, maybe I have one question first, because I was really cynical about coaching when I first started carnivore. I'm like, why do you need a coach? Just eat meat. Like, this isn't hard. And I will say now, that was so stupid. And I've come around to realize it's much deeper than that. But can you talk a little bit about coaching and your passion for it, and why is it important?
You're not the only one, Carrie. Early on, that was a big thing. It's like, hey, we shouldn't coach on the carnivore community. It's not ethical and all of that kind of stuff because, a lot of us got scorned by the medical community that we're paying all this money and they're not taking care of us. Meanwhile, the carnivores are like, hey, and these are the OGs. They're like, look, it's just about eating meat, and then you'll eventually get better. Now, I started I was in that stance because, I had to take responsibility for myself, and I got up with no coaching. So to tell you the truth, you can do this with no coaching, and I encourage you to do that. Now, the problem is how much you can get from somebody else's experience. So you're not actually hiring because I'm a coach. It's because, hey, I went through a lot of pains to figure out how I got here. And if I could give you a shortcut and you don't have to go through those, wouldn't you want that?
Yeah.
And for me, I also I'm a little bit more teetering on the extra health. So I love fasting on top of it, and of course, I know you and Carrie and Adam. I mean, both of you are big in fasting, but I've always told myself that there is a balance. Carnivore is a wonderful foundation and great at healing everything. But if you really want to test it out, you can add fasting. And then on top of that, you can add exercise. That's how you really test your body, by putting a little bit of stress on it and seeing if it can handle it, but not too much, because you'll break yourself. So where do you get at that? And that's where I think, for me, coaching is really valuable. Having an outside outlook of what that person is doing. And I wish I had that even for myself. Somebody can look at me like, because you know how you're bouncing ideas on your head and you never really clarify a solid plan. Coaching is there to solidify that plan. That's the way I feel.
That's great. I don't know if I've heard it that way before, and that really makes a lot of sense. Like, do I want to go through all of the struggles and tribulations, or could I learn from what Raymond's already gone through and make that a smoother path? Because it's hard enough as it is going carnivore when you're kind of living in a world where you're the odd one out and everyone's offering you food. And I think addiction's a big part of this as well for people. Oh, yeah. And it's one of the only addictions in the world where no one really wants to help you. They mean well, but if I was addicted to alcohol or something and trying to quit, most of my loved ones would be supportive of that. But you try to give up like sugar and carbs, and they're still handing you cupcakes and saying, come on, you can have just one kind of thing. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the important things on coaching, there's people that don't realize when you go on a carnivore diet, a lot of people think, oh man, all of a sudden I'm not that hungry and I can eat 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day. And I want to tell people, those people who are doing that, they're doing fasting, not plus carnivore diet, not necessarily carnivore diet. Give carnivore diet a full chance and eat 3 meals a day at first. So I harp on that. I call it priming. And it's such an important just distinction to say, hey, just do this for 2 weeks. Then you can go ahead and do some crazy stuff like fasting or crazy stuff like exercise. It will actually click because you have the nutrition, and it's all about getting the proper nutrition. You can do other stuff later on.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm interested to know, Raymond, if you think that fasting is necessary or just a tool.
It's a tool. So it's a measure. Is it necessary? If you're trying to get an extra healing out of it, for example, if you have cancer or something like that, we know fasting is the best benefit. The problem is most people don't talk about how important nourishment is. Us in the carnivore diet, we know how important that is. Now, could you do carnivore diet with just nourishing yourself 3 meals a day over and over again? You could, but if you do it right, you probably don't want to. Your body kind of pushes back and says, look, I just don't need that much nourishment. Can I please take a break from it? And I say, hey, let's flirt with that and see what the body is capable of doing. And I know when I flirt with it properly and make sure it's balanced, I can get my body looking really good and feeling at the best point in my life too. So both comes in handy.
Yeah. I feel like I've never felt better than when I'm fasted. And before carnivore, I dabbled in fasting a couple times. And when I did carnivore, I'm like, gosh, I feel so good on carnivore. It kind of reminds me of how good I felt when I was fasting before that.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I've got some more questions for Raymond, but maybe first we'll show this first trailer. I see some new faces and some comments in the live chat. So this is for everyone that's joining us right now. We're going to show you our earlier trailer, and then we're going to show you the brand new trailer number 2. So here we go with the first one.
You know, I've been a doctor for nearly 30 years now.
We've all been misled for so long.
They gave me pills for anxiety. They gave me pills for depression.
Our bodies are so deficient and so malnourished that of course you're going to get diseases. Of course you're going to get sick.
I believe that I may have caused my cancer.
It is no way to live. It's a nightmare.
I was just so hopeless for so many years. It just kills me to know that the answer was out there the whole time.
You know, just because you put something in your mouth and chew it doesn't make it food. Food is species specific.
We can sit back and we can say the bloody doctors, it's not their fault. They were trained and they're doing what they were trained to do.
The thing that really pisses me off is that the people that we should have been able to trust, the literal organizations that we look up to protect us, are the people who have done the majority of the misleading.
I'm 82 years old, which is just a chronological number. So you put the right fuel in the engine and the engine works.
I've now transitioned from a disease manager to a disease healer. I've transitioned from a drug dealer to a killer.
3 weeks ago, I didn't know this man, Bill, from Alaska. Bill is 700 pounds and he's been stuck in his house for 4 years. You nervous?
I'm nervous. Scary. You know, I live in Alaska, the most incredible place on the planet. I had to have a toilet put, a few feet from my bed, which I can barely walk to as is. I have not been outside in over 4 years. This is life or death for me. I'm sorry, Gary. I'm sorry about that.
Here.
Man,
Thanks, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Now, for the first time in a long, long time, I'm looking towards the future, which I've not had in such a long, long time. It's just the most incredible feeling.
There we go.
Yeah, I remember that trailer. Awesome.
We got the man himself in the chat too. Bill Knott is in the chat. Hey, Bill.
Awesome, Bill.
Yeah, Bill is planning on going to Hack Your Health in November, which is going to be amazing. We showed the trailer, Raymond, yesterday on Dr. Barry's channel, and Bill. All the comments were Bill. I told Bill yesterday, I'm like, you don't know what you got coming. It's going to be pretty awesome just going to Hack Your Health. But when the documentary's out, I think Bill is going to get swarmed with people when he goes there. He's got a lot of fans, rightfully so. So.
Yeah. Oh, and the fact that he can actually get on a plane flight to actually come here is huge right there. Not much less getting out of his house when he couldn't even do that. We underestimate all of that. When I first coached Lindy, that was the same case with her. Yeah. She flew you saw her in Montana, so I mean, it's amazing. And Todd was the same story. So we're getting these stories of these incredible, unable to heal type people, at least according to the normal way. All of a sudden, they're able to have a life. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. Lindy's awesome. She's in the documentary too. And Bill, part of the reason we did another trailer that we're going to show you guys is because Bill is progressing faster than we can have our editor edit trailers together. So in that one, he was down 200 pounds. He's approaching 350 pounds down. Half the man he used to be. Started at 700. He's halfway there, which is just amazing. Bill's awesome. He's been inspiring so many people. Many of the comments coming through were that. So we had a question here in the chat. Let me see real quick. Oh, okay. When is the documentary coming out? It seems like I donated over a year ago when there was a 24-hour marathon on. We are aiming to finish the documentary at the end of this year. We have filmed 60 people all over the planet. This has turned into like a huge project. We filmed all over Australia, all over Canada, all over the United States. And several of those people we filmed over the course of a year, like Bill Knott. We filmed him day one, and then we had to wait a whole year. So that was always the premise of the documentary, right? We'd follow a couple people over the course of a year. So that takes some time. I've barely been carnivore over 2 years. So it seems like it's taking a while, but it really hasn't, given the premise of the documentary and really the scope of it. And the other reason it's taken a while is because we didn't have a budget. We didn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to film the documentary. We had nothing. So we were scraping and fighting, and we did that 24-hour live stream, raised some funds. We went and filmed, and then we ran out of funds, and then we filmed again, and then we ran out of funds, and we had to keep doing more live streams. And so it was a lot of stop and go, but I'm really excited because we are on the home stretch now. Dr. Sean Baker, rightfully so, the man, the myth, the legend, was the last person we filmed. He was interview number 60. So we're completely done filming, and we're in post-production and editing right now. And the last thing I'll say, as I see a couple questions in the chat, was we're also doing a series, which I'm almost more excited about. Yeah. We'll have an episode on every major health issue. So if you're suffering from depression, or you have a loved one going through cancer, fertility issues, we'll have an episode on each of those, is the goal. And we've actually, quite a bit of the work we've done filming the documentary is also going towards that series. We could actually finish a whole episode on aging and a whole episode on cancer right now. We're just we're allocating those resources to finish the documentary first before we move on to that. So Raymond, I had another question for you. This has been like life-changing for me. It's given my kids their dad back. Like, I was a shadow of the human I was before. My depression was so horrible. And so many people, Adam and I have interviewed all around the world, they do this for one reason, but the common thread with many of them is, I didn't realize I was depressed. I didn't realize I had anxiety, all these unintended consequences. But for so many, it's like, this saved my life. This is life-changing. What is it like for you as a coach when you're coaching someone and they come to you like Bill was in the beginning of that trailer, hopeless, and now they have hope, or they have a second chance at life after you've coached them?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I can give is definitely hope. Like they can get rid of this, but I never give anybody guarantees, because really and honestly, I tell people, look, you're actually just healing yourself. You're just putting the proper fuel in there. Your body will take care of the rest. So, and I give them a set of measurements to actually watch for every week, to take a look at their progress pretty much. So I like them to keep up with non-scale victories. Scale victories are great, but that unfortunately, people who look at scale as their markers tend to be the least successful, because they're weighing themselves and then all of a sudden that's their goal. So I really try to let them know, hey, look, there are plenty of other goals that you just don't even know what was going on there. For me, I had major anxiety, also bad depression, very OCD, the kind of guy who had to lock the doors, and check it every, so often, just almost unable to function without a proper set things that I needed to do. So, but the anxiety was just unreal. For my job, I had to present and, be leader at some points, and it would just take everything out of me just to force myself out of that. So, I let people know, look, I've been there. I know what it feels like. So I let them know there will be a point where you'll get this carnivore zen. All you need to do is, look, can you give me 90 days? That's it. And I tell them, look, let's go into a curiosity mode. What do you think is going to happen to you in 90 days? No expectations. Look, if nothing happens, that's fine. At least you fed yourself the best type of food you can, but more than likely something will happen. So give me that 90 days and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I love that too. And it seems like a big task. I get it. It seemed like it for me when I was starting carnivore, but when that 90 days goes by, it goes by. It's a blink of an eye in the grand scheme of your whole life. It's like anybody can do 90 days. I love your advice too about the scale. That's been, talking to so many carnivores, that's been one big stumbling point for so many people. That was something I realized too, because when I first started carnivore, I was like, oh, that's a cool way to drop some pounds, lose some weight. Now it's almost insulting thinking about it that way. It's like, I was metabolically sick. A side effect of that was me being overweight and a million other things, but fixing my metabolic health, that's what carnivore does. It's not a weight loss thing. You just naturally go down to your intended weight, whatever that may be. But most of the people I talk to when they're stalling, it's like they're not even really stalling. Maybe their body composition's changing, their bone density's changing, or their body's just prioritizing healing, which is like incredible. That's amazing. That's one of the sad things is when you see someone like, oh, the scale didn't move in 3 weeks. This isn't working. I'm quitting. And then if they actually did like a DEXA scan, their bone density probably changed, their muscles probably increased. They're probably having all sorts of healing. Maybe their fatty liver's going away, but just because the weight only scale didn't show anything, they're out. It's like, that's heartbreaking. So throw that scale out.
Exactly. Throw it out. So, one of the things I can say is if you get the quality of life you're looking for, do you really care what you weigh? I know I didn't. I was like, I don't care if I even gained weight at that point, but I get quality life. There's nothing, and that's hard to measure. That's something you feel. Just like how I felt terrible before. I didn't really realize how terrible I actually felt until I was on the other side. And you guys know exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's a different person that shows up at that point too, because can you imagine no depression, very low anxiety, just capable of thinking on whims, no brain fog, none of this normal thing that we thought was normal coming up because of old age. And all of a sudden you're seeing the world in a different way.
Yeah.
And I feel like my personality started really actually showing up because back then it was so much pain. That wasn't my personality. That's not who I am. I wasn't that grumpy guy all the time. That wasn't who I am. I feel like I am who I am now. And thanks to the diet.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the common thread we've seen interviewing all these people. They're like, I feel alive for the first time. I love movies, Raymond. This is Shawshank Redemption. You can get busy living or get busy dying. I feel like on Carnivore, people are like, I'm finally living. Like I'm feeling this now.
That's right.
We got a question here from Stevie Wood. Hey, Coach Raymond, how can I get one-on-one with you?
Well, the best way bang for your buck is to join the Steak and Butter Gang. But if you want a one-on-one with me, you can feel free to email me. Just the best way is Steak and Butter Gang. Go there first, and then DM me on the Mighty Networks, and then we'll talk.
Awesome. And again, huge shout out Steak and Butter Gang. I mentioned this. We were honored to join the big SBG meetup. It was incredible.
Wasn't it awesome?
It was so good. And my SBG was a big part of my wife, Jen, succeeding on Carnivore for the second time, having that community and going in. She was a member of SBG. I was with Dr. Barry when I first started. So there's lots of groups for different reasons, but that community is so important. And I look now, like I used to, like I said, be cynical. And now I'm like, with the healing that I've experienced, if I could go back, I'd be like, I'd have mortgaged my house. I'd have given up anything, because you don't have anything without your health. You have nothing if you're depressed and hopeless on a couch. So it's so powerful. In some of these groups, it's like $30 healing, forever. I just tell people too, it's not a lifelong commitment, right? Like some people might be good with a month or two or 90 days or whatever. So
but the best part is having the like mind. I mean, you're not going to walk down the street and meet other carnivores, so to me, I love it talking to people who don't think I'm straight out crazy, so I mean, nobody questions me anymore. Even in the real life, they just notice me, and they see my success. They can't deny it. But I know early on I could have used a community, not thinking that I'm fresh nut out of my head case, and that and we have all of these guest doctors too, right? So, and Carrie, don't you have a community also?
We do. Healinghumanity.life. Yep. Yeah. We got so many people, so many new carnivores just come to my channel that they need that extra community. The doctors, the little bit of coaching. So it's been great. And there's nothing more rewarding than seeing someone go through the community and find healing. I don't know of anything else in the world I'd want to do where you can just, even if you're just a little part of that process and you see someone finally living, finally getting their life back. It's incredible for sure.
See, this is what I've always thought, the way carnivore has made me, for example, and other carnivores like you notice that we just kind of start really feeling how much connection really matters. That's where the community really matters. maybe I'm going to say it in the wrong way. I would say enhanced man. I mean, we were always like this. If we ate properly, we had proper community, we had people that we'd have each other's backs, kind of thing. But unfortunately, because we ate like crap, we're very divisive.
Yeah.
You notice the world's very divisive. And I've always thought in my head, wow, if we had the world as carnivores, we would have no more wars. That's why would we? Right? Everybody's happy. Everybody's feeling good. We're just loving life.
I'm with you, Raymond, 100% on that one. It drives people nuts when they're like, oh, you attribute everything to carnivore. I really believe that. Even if you just look at like divorces, marriages breaking up, there's so much. It's just when you're sick, when you're metabolically sick and you're just doing the bare minimum and you can barely get up off the couch, you can't be there. You can't commit. There's so many things. You're like, you attribute everything to carnivore, but I'm like, I really believe that. Like you said, wars and a lot of people hurt people, right?
Yeah. We always hear that. So guess what? If I'm hurting, I'm going to be hurting somebody.
Right.
But if I'm feeling good, I'm going to be feeling good with other people.
Right. It's kind of proof positive too when you start going to some of these meetups and it's just like this carnivore zen, like everyone's cool, everyone's happy. A lot of people leave those things and it's great because you're with your carnivore people, but I think it's also great because you're just like, man, those are just some great people. They're all full of joy and gratitude and they're happy. It's like I want to hang out with people like that all the time. And I always say this on my channel, but it's you're the sum result of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you're hanging out with a bunch of carnivores and they got that carnivore energy and that carnivore glow and they're excited and they're happy and they've got gratitude, you end up with those things. You hang out with negative people, you end up more negative. So
absolutely,
I'm with you. Awesome. Well, Coach Raymond, this is great talking to you. I want to show you trailer number 2 now. I'm kind of excited.
Awesome.
You haven't seen it yet.
No.
So feel free, like constructive criticism, tear us up, whatever. I'll give a quick disclosure because there's a lot of people in the chat now, many that haven't seen it yet. When you do a documentary, you have several trailers, teasers for different purposes. The first trailer we just watched was more about Bill and we were just getting started. This trailer, the purpose of this was kind of to show the scope and scale of this project. We've had a lot of incredible people donate, even like 2 years ago on our 24-hour live stream. And a lot of them are like, what are you guys doing? They don't realize like Adam and I have literally traveled the globe filming this thing all over the world. It's turned into a huge project. So the purpose of this trailer was let's try to show the scope and scale of this project, but with some of the emotion. Like our big focus for Healing Humanity is the documented stories. We have the science. We have 9 doctors and experts in there, but we're really focused on the individual story because that's what saved me. I saw Dante Ferrigno and I could relate to him. If I just saw Dante Ferrigno talking about ketogenic science for a half an hour, I would have tuned out and it wouldn't have done anything for me. So we do have the science and the doctors in there, but our primary focus is the connections with these individuals and these stories. So we're going to be having a third trailer that's going to be more of your general trailer, like to get folks to come watch the film. That'll be more accessible for people that maybe don't know what keto or carnivore is. That one's going to be a little bit more challenging. But with that said, we'll roll this one here. This is trailer number 2. Brand new.
When I walk into a grocery store and see thousands of items on the shelf, that does not register in my brain as food. And of course it's not. This has never been food to any human being for the entirety of human history.
We've been soaking up the wrong information for so long.
Everything I thought I knew about nutrition turned out to be wrong. And it doesn't take that long to figure it out if you look at the actual science.
Your body, even though you feel like it betrayed you years ago, you actually betrayed it.
I was following the rules and getting sicker for it.
I was hopeless. I was really hopeless, and I thought, yeah, this is the way it's gonna be.
I don't think I would have made it. I honestly don't. I mean, I was 69 pounds, almost hooked up to a feeding tube.
I probably had 30 days left until I was dead.
My thought was, I'm gonna die, and I'm not gonna have a chance to tell everybody that I love them one last time.
That's just more pills and more pills and more pills and more sickness and more disease.
I look at people now on the street and I see them not doing well, and I just wonder what the food that they're eating is doing to them.
We're learning from our past way of eating that somehow we're damaging disease.
I want to live in a world where every doctor is not managing disease, but trying to get to the root cause of why people are sick in the first place.
That's what being a doctor's all about, isn't it? Being able to take somebody who's got no hope and give them hope. And it's a real hope. It's a true hope. It's not a false hope. I'm not interested in any other profession.
There you go, right in my face. Perfect. I just remember being so excited about being alive again.
Changing my diet absolutely saved my life.
Plain and simple, I would not be here today.
I have my life back.
It was like with a new lens, new eyes, was using them for the first time.
Even though I'm 5.5 years in, I still wake up feeling impressed.
I felt the best I ever felt in my life.
I never thought I'd have a life. I really thought my life was over. And if I hadn't have found this lifestyle, that I would not be sitting here with you today. No way.
I'm 82 years old, which is just a chronological number.
Pull yourself up, you swing your leg over and you're over.
It's not healthcare, it's sick care. We don't need doctors if we're eating properly. We don't need medication.
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
a lot of anecdotals. The only thing I would wish is there were some names there, because I'm like, wait, who's that? I'd like to look them up.
Yeah, we struggled with that. We didn't have any at first, and then we added some of the doctor names. But some of them we're trying to put like I said, we're gonna have a third trailer with more individuals, but we're trying to put a whole bunch in this 3 minutes. And we were initially, I think we started adding some names. It was right at them. It's just too quick. It's boom, 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 boom. You almost have to pause.
Very, very distracting.
Too distracting. Yeah.
Yeah. So overall,
awesome.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what was it?
I mean, really pump you up. I'd say 7, 8 easy.
Nice.
So really got, I don't know how it'd be looking at from a lens of non-carnivore though, but that really
right.
That's going to be the big challenge. Like I said, the last trailer we're going to try to make accessible and for the non-carnivore keto crowd, and that's going to be a tightrope walking act for sure. It's going to be tricky because you talk too much about carnivore too quick, they're just going to check out. It's really a tricky one, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Awesome. We're getting some good feedback here. All right. So Raymond, for those that are still, some are still jumping on, what's the best way people can find you and follow you?
Yeah. Like I was saying, check out the Steak and Butter Gang. You will see that on my YouTube profile. So you can just click there and then find me there. I'm not trying to exactly be secretive or anything. It's just, I find community is so important. Look, there's even a free portion of the community. You can ask how to get in touch with me that way. I just want you to experience a community portion also. And really and honestly, I actually coach for $30 a month. I actually have great plans laid out for the people. And I actually spend that hour, people raising their hands, asking questions, getting their own personal little segment of coaching during that time. So it's really well worth it, especially if money is an issue. But of course, if you want me one-on-one, that I have tons that, I have quite a bit of clients that like that, preferably also for the privacy, just a little more expensive. Well, a lot more, but anyways.
Love it. Well, we really appreciate you, Coach Raymond, coming on, and we appreciate you sharing your story in the documentary, and we're excited to share it with the world. So thank you so much.
I can't wait to see it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, and real quick, I'll just mention, I think I forgot to, for those that just watched the trailer, get some great feedback in the comments. We appreciate all the nice comments. If you want to watch it again or you want to share it, that's the best way you can help us out. You just go to healinghumanity.movie, and there's a link right there. You can share it on Facebook, share it with your friends. And if you want to get our shirts or our merchandise, all the money from that goes towards the documentary. You can also sign up for our free newsletter at healinghumanity.movie, and we'll notify you when the third trailer's ready, when the documentary's ready, all that insider stuff. So thank you guys all for joining us. Thank you, Coach Raymond. Thank you, Adam. We'll see you guys on the next
Awesome
one.
seeing you guys. All right.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye, everyone.